Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we have an interview with ALEX BILLIAR over here, who just got top 4 at YCS Anaheim. And helping me out with the interview is going to be Alex Turner down below. That's Time Thief on YouTube. So yeah, we're going to just go over the YCS Anaheim experience, talk about Alex B's deck list, and just go over kind of how like the YCS atmosphere has changed with the new rules, the new top 8, and then kind of give a little bit of preview into YCS Pittsburgh, which is going to be the next North American YCS coming up in about a month. So yeah, what's going on, guys? Alex, congrats on your top. First of all, how does it feel to kind of get your first I don't know, this is the highest you've probably ever gotten in a YCS, so how does it feel a week out?
Yeah, thanks. Feels pretty weird. A lot of like congratulations, and I'm like pretty still adjusting. I'm hoping it's not the last one at least.
Yeah, for sure. So you decided to bring pure Mitsurugi to this event. What were your kind of how did you come to that choice, and what were your other considerations, like deck choices? Because up to this, you were playing Vanquish Soul, and then we had the ban list hitting Raisin and Stake Your Soul down. So, first of all, like, why did you decide to eliminate Vanquish Soul as a choice? Like, is it really that bad? And then how did you come to Mitsurugi?
Yeah, so I was basically set on Vanquish Soul, basically leading up to when the ban list came out. When they hit both Raisin and Stake, it makes it almost unplayable in any long format tournaments. You're bound to brick more and also like theoretically play the deck in a like Yugioh Turbo like format where you just like normal Naroi, hope it all resolves, and then summon a Yugioh and get Vanquish Soul cards. But unfortunately, I was already having a terrible time before the ban list with bricking with that deck, so I just like I didn't even want to try it. I had a feeling I would just brick probably every match and be sad. And then for pure Mitsu, I kind of just settled on it because it was one of the very few decks I knew how to play post ban list, and I kind of just went with it. I was like, I know how these cards work. It seemed very mid-rangey, which is typically the type of deck I go for. Um, and it has a great yummy matchup, and I thought that would be the most popular deck for the format.
Did you play against a lot of those BSK9 decks? Or did you see them a lot?
At the event,
Yeah.
no, I didn't see a single Vanquish Soul card. Period. I saw like them around, um, but I didn't even see almost any K9 decks. I only saw two, I think, the entire weekend.
Dude, because I feel like it must be one of the most terrifying things to lose the die roll and then watch your opponent normal summon Noroi without
You
having, unless you have like a few Wallows or like,
you know your hand is gonna get looked at or something, but
Yeah.
basically I lost almost every dice roll. So had I played against them, I'm sure that I'm sure I would have gotten my hand looked at. For the most part, I mean, I think it'd be a really good deck to bring to like a local or even maybe a regional. I'm sure it could win the majority of like 7 or 8 rounds. You start getting into like 2 days and more than 13 rounds. It's like you're basically hope you'd have to high roll your way to like wins, and I don't think you can really guarantee going X2 or better with that deck.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. You think
Yeah.
your deck also plays a lot of bricks too. Overall, the
Yes.
consistency was like pretty solid though, you think? Outside of the final
Yeah.
round, obviously.
Yeah. Except for honestly, I think that was my only real brick all weekend was in upcut. There were some matches where I would go second and I would open no playable Mitsu cards initially. Maybe I'd have like a Fuwalos to kind of add a card or two. I would have enough like super polys and talents and maybe like some stuff to like kind of like buy me a turn or two. But honestly, like a lot of other decks were bricking too. So it was like it seemed like a pretty shared. It
Yeah,
seemed like
as
a
a brick
shared
fiesta.
experience. Yeah, every like there was a I know when I played in round like, 13 with Swiss, the second to last round, when I played Cam there, we both passed for like 6 straight turns. Just like wait, he like opened the one Saji, I ashed it, and then we spent 6 turns just like waiting till one person drew a starter with no hand trap in the other person's hand. It was like a brick fiesta the whole time for everybody.
Yeah. let's go over your deck real quick. I have it up on the screen here, but maybe we could just talk through the choices. The MITSU cards are basically standard, just two Aramasa, and then you ended up playing the Nightsword Serpent. I know leading into the tournament, you had Nightsword Serpent out of your deck. You were convinced it was a brick, but then you, I guess, settled on having it in your list.
Everybody told me, they were like, no, trust me, it's worth it to play as Nightsword Serpent. And I was like, I guess I'll play it. I mean, he honestly almost never comes up in terms of like, I almost never went first the whole tournament. So I don't know. Maybe he comes up more when you go first. But the idea behind him is like, if you want to do like a Gallant Granite combo and get like full value out of your engine, then if you start Habakiri to send Saji, you need the Nightsword Serpent to actually get those two rank fours without normaling, especially because game 2 or 3, whenever you go first, you want to be normaling a Fossil Dyna. But theoretically, that's why you would need him.
Legendary.
Yeah, barely did that either. But the idea of the is like you would not want to use your normal for that, and also it plays around Stroll just a little bit better, especially when you start Prayers Tribute like a Ritual Monster in draw phase. The value you get off of just going Ritual Spells, Special Murakuma from hand, dump Kusanagi and Nightsword Serpent, you're gonna guarantee yourself like at least a play on the next turn. You can make a Dynamondo or something if you have to, and you get drolled later in the turn. He's also like really good for side patterns. You can always take him out going second.
Nice.
He's always out.
You can always take him out of your deck.
He's coming out. He's coming out almost every time.
Nice. I've seen a couple lists actually do well with the Fossil Dyna in the main. Did you consider that at all?
I did consider it. Yeah, I was like, I'm this close to putting this guy in my main deck. But Tim said, don't do that. You're going to be really sad when you go second and that's in your hand. I was like, you can set it.
You
It's
can
not
set
that
it,
bad.
yeah.
You can destroy all their monsters. But it's like I think the nib in the main was better. Honestly, I drew that nib a lot going second game 1. And it was like pretty good. Honestly, you could even play more nibs somewhere in the deck, whether that be main or side. Because everybody kind of turbos into it now.
Yeah.
Because it's not particularly popular. Like especially even like pure MITSU, if they're going for the Fossil Dyna combo, sometimes they will also just like run headfirst into Nib, and you can just like Nibiru them, and then their Fossil Dyna is kind of terrible from there. But um, it's more like the Fossil Dyna thing is great when you know you're going first. You really want to maximize your chances of winning game 1, and game 1 going first, you're already favored because people won't have as many breakers in their deck.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so you
mean-
think Nibiru's like a decent hand trap then?
Honestly, like he feels really good when he's in the same place he's always been, like Nib plus Asher Impulse, and you kind of feel like you're. And there are a lot of games if you can Nibiru them. The only deck this wouldn't maybe be good against would be Canine decks, but they're not particularly popular, to be honest. And hand traps are always going to be bad against those decks. But if you can, like I nibbed a few yummy players, and if you have that impulse to follow it up, they're basically like their turn's over from that point on. Also nib plus Fua is not bad because a lot of decks will still give you like Yummy will give you 5 summons under nib a lot of the time, and so he kind of just like puts people in bad positions as long as you have another hand trap. Like this deck doesn't need full 5 card hands or 6 card hands to break boards. It just needs like solid engine, and maybe you play cards like Super Poly and stuff, which are just like extremely powerful right now.
Yeah, so
But,
like you think if you
I
have
wanted to play
Nib
2.
and Ash against like a Yummy
Yeah,
deck,
I mean,
that
Nib
was
and
like
Ash is
sufficient.
Ideally, you'd have like nib
Yeah.
impulse, and then you would just save the impulse until after you nib, and you would like impulse the surprise, or
Okay.
you could impulse like a synchro monster. There's like a lot. I think I did that in my feature match, and it's just like I had every non-engine card in the game. And to be fair, I had like Ash, impulse, nib, super. I wasn't losing that game, no matter how hard I might have wanted to try. I think it was like it's like a good card, but I would only put 2. I'd like put 2 more in the side, is what I was thinking. Like honestly, you could take out D Shifter. I would love to take out Wosu, but I know I'll need it one day. For one round, he'll come in
The
handy.
Luna Lights will come back at some point when you least expect it.
Yeah, I'll need it.
How is Shifter? Did
so-
you
Yeah,
ever
I
use
mean,
Shifter? Like, did it ever come up?
I sided it in. I sided him in. I think I activated it one time. That was an example of like a hand where I had nothing basically. Like my opponent, normal to cup C, I went great shifter chain Fuwalos, and he passed. And I think I drew into a prosperity. He had a D barrier set too, so I was like activate, hope trying to get him to like use it.
Yeah.
And I had a super poly. And I think I won that game just because he had no follow up essentially. I had an impulse for his surprise, and like he just didn't have anything that could out like a super poly. But like those are the like I think shifter is great, but it's only really good against it's like fine against Yummy, but it's really good against Draco Tail. And you already have three better, honestly, like better shifters in Retail C.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that shifter is good for outing Droll, going first, but Droll's like annoying, but it's really not. It's not as bad as I think people thought.
And then let's see, you decided on talents in the main also. Did that work out for you? I'm not sure how popular talents is.
I think it's pretty strong right now. I was using it a lot going second to like their hand for hand traps.
Yeah.
If you have like a super poly or a droplet, you can always go like activate something that maybe adds a card. With priority, you can chain the droplet or the super poly, and then check their hand with the talons to see if there's a droll.
Yeah.
They played into the talons, which would happen a lot with Yummy because they would, aim their synchro as fast as possible or chain a Murakumo if they're playing MITSU cards.
Yeah.
And so they basically play into the talons first action. I mean, it's not as good as it used to be, I'd say, just because you could talents look at somebody's hand and they have like Cupsy, Cookie, Marshmallow, and you're like, oh, well, this is a useless.
Yeah.
And it's still not a fantastic when you're under like, it's like the similar thing to Thrust, where I go first and I get drolled. I would love to at least try and look at their hand and see if I can just like skip a turn back and come back. But yeah, I think it's one of those cards. It's just like it's part of the like, oh, I got drolled or I got hand trapped. Let me try and either keep playing or look at my opponent's hand so I get another turn.
You thought those were the best breakers though? Like Super Poly Talents? Because I know people also play like Dark Ruler, Droplet, yeah, or like Thrust.
Yeah, so the thing with Dark Ruler, well, Thrust is great, not as a breaker, in my opinion, unless you're playing maybe like a deck that runs Obedience Scold or Engage or something. Like Striker decks will play Thrust every time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just how it is with that deck. For Mitsu and stuff, like all I'd be searching would be pre-prep or talents. And so the thing with Dark Ruler, people were like, "Oh, it's the best card against Mitsu because they can't prayers summon back." And I'm like, I barely ever prayers summon back for my Murakuma. Like it never happens. You just like either Futsu summon him back, or you're gonna like, and like you can just Futsu summon back later in the turn. You just like negate something with the trap card, summon him back, and now your Futsu has, stuff again. It's not that hard, and also it stops you from dying, which against specifically Mitsu is really bad because they're getting so much follow up. As soon as their Futsu is, back online later in the turn, they tribute it and bring it back. It's just like they're gonna get so much follow up, and then they'll probably just kill you on their turn. It's like, in my opinion, you want to prioritize winning game one and you want to also prioritize winning as fast as possible because like all these decks search follow up as they're interrupting you, which can be really difficult to interact with, I think.
How was
The Dark Ruler is
yeah.
fine though as an out to like Fossil Dyna, I think. Like Fossil Dyna is annoying, so it's a good out to that.
True.
So if you're specifically worried about Fossil Dyna, then it's probably fine. But I don't think I like it very much.
Yeah. How did Super Poly go? Like it's good into Yummy, good into Mitsu. Is that basically I guess it's pretty good into Draco Tail if they have the right board, because I see you have that Secretary on Dragon. Did it work out, or did you ever kind of like have a matchup where it's kind of dead, or did that come up much? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, that card was really, really great basically every time I had it. It is really good into Yummy. It's probably the best breaker into Yummy specifically. Like, I think I basically won every match against Yummy. I activated that card. Um, like it's so good. Like there were people who tried to play around it, and what they'll do is they won't summon Herald their own turn. They'll wait until my turn, like mid combo to summon it. Which I don't know if you should be doing that blind. Maybe my opponent saw what I was playing when he did that, and so he did like he saw I was playing Super Poly and he played around it kind of thing. But to be honest, like yeah, against a lot of people when like IP Futsu maybe a second ritual monster, and you
Yeah.
just like Super Poly away their IP and their Futsu. And if you have an Ash Blossom, the game's probably over. I don't know,
Yeah.
like it's a great card for winning game one. It's fine if you draw it going first, you set it. You know, it's a legitimately good interruption. And going second, obviously, it helps you play around a lot of stuff. Getting rid of a Herald is really important if they have one on board. And yeah, it's also like game ending. Played one Draco Tail all weekend and like I activated well my hand was really good. It was like Retail C Super Poly. I drew another Retail C. It was a little bit ridiculous,
A
but
little bit. Yeah.
I know yeah, at one point he had like Seals Gulamel. He was about to pass with one card in hand. I just like and I had Retail C and I just flipped a Super Poly and he scooped because there was no way he was winning that game from that point on.
Did
So
you-
do you think you have to play the Secretarion Dragon if you play Super Poly? Or like if I want to add Super Poly to my deck, you think I'd be fine with just Mud Dragon Garura?
I think it depends if you're maining Super Poly, yes. You have to main deck the Secretarion just to have it because like other than that, that Draco Tail deck doesn't really play into Super Poly targets very well. Like very rarely do they have like two monsters with the same attribute just on the board. If you're expecting to see Draco Tail, which there was a lot of them at the event, like a lot of very good players were playing it. I just kind of dodged them, I guess. I don't know how it worked out, but like I know somebody told me they were like, "Yeah, you saw one, I saw six." So I was like, there are clearly some people playing it. If you're gonna main Super Poly, you kind of have to. If you want to side it specifically, going second into like Yummy Mitsu, stuff like that, you can not play it.
That makes
The
Dude,
only
what
deck I
did you
sided
play
it out,
against? If you play against like one Draco Tail and
I
like
played
not a lot of
against
K9.
I played against Kamal in round five, so that was a K9 Crystron. Lost really fast from there. But I also played against K9 Fiber Dragon in round two. So those are my only two K9 decks. I played against like Fiendsmith Crystal Beast in round one.
Bro, what?
Yeah. I
The
mean,
dude is
he said
cooking,
he
man.
was. Yeah, he said he was. I mean, honestly, I got really well. I didn't get scared because I lost a dice roll and then he went activate tracked, but I was looking at a Fu Wallace in my hand and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
well, if this thing resolves, I probably just win the game. It doesn't really.
That is
And
the
then it
best
resolved.
feeling.
And then it happened again the exact same way in game two. So I was like, oh, cool.
nice.
First round down. But
Bean Smith, yeah. Bean Smith
and
versus
even
Few Wallows.
yeah, I even got to like activate Super Poly against him. I'm pretty sure it was nice. But I think I also played against a lot of Yummy, probably six, maybe seven. Like I played a lot of Yummy. Played against one mirror match, against one Draco Tail, and I think I played against Gem Knight day two, Malice day two, and I think that is it. Yeah, and then three Yummies were the other day two. So it was
Or
basically
miss it?
almost
Yeah.
all. It was almost all Yummy, mostly pure Yummy too.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, if people are doing the Mitsu stuff, but pure yummy. Okay.
Well, that was the thing kind of leading up to it is when me and Tim were like testing if you even want to call what we did. And it was like it's like we were like, I don't know, we think Yummy will be the most popular, but will it be pure or Mitsu? Because we all heard like Triff is like Yummy Mitsu is the best version of Yummy. And obviously what he says carries some, you know, influence, obviously, but like you couldn't tell like how popular it would actually be. Um, so when we showed up, Tim brought pure Yummy. And I kind of thought like, you know, with like it was like 16 hand traps and like you could have played more if you really wanted to. You just maxed out his starters, but kind of assumed pure Yummy would be a little bit more popular, but and I think it was more popular in like a overall kind of scheme, but a lot of very good players were also playing Yummy Mitsu, which I think He's a harder matchup and definitely more difficult. I'm happy I didn't play against it as much, but it also bricks more than pure Yummy, I think, or at least more
Yeah.
aggressively. Like I was seeing some of the hands from some of those Yummy MITSU players, and they were like, I was like, "There's no way I could play this deck." Like, just you lose.
So what do you side in against that deck? Like, do you put in Drolls if you see they're playing the Mitsu engine or no?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely play
Okay.
Troll because I'm not concerned about playing against Yummy cards at all. Basically, like activate ritual spell special Murakumo is basically just game against that deck, especially if you have a way to out the Herald. As long as you
Well, yeah,
draw them,
because
if
they
they
have
go
the
like
Herald, and then
yes,
they also have Surprise though too. Like get back the
yeah,
engine,
like
you know?
yeah, Herald. As long as you can out it, you're fine for the rest of the turn, basically. Because unless they side in like a deep barrier, in which case you lose. But
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Doesn't
I'm
matter
not
what
gonna
deck they're playing at that
play
point.
around. Yeah, but if you draw them on like normal Cupsy effect to search, they'll search surprise and you draw them, and then you won't be getting Mitsu'd unless they hard drew multiple Mitsu cards, which is fine. Like you're comfortable letting them full combo. You may even have like an impulse or something or a nib to kind of get them off Herald. Like I know I did that in my top 8 match. I basically just like game one, I just let him combo. I was specifically hand traps to stop him from summoning Mitsurugi cards. So there was just like a Herald, and then I just like I super poly Habakiri'd him. Or like extra Abby, you negated it, and I was like activate Habakiri, and then game was over from that point on, I guess.
Yeah.
So against Yummy, your general plan is like Super Poly or Murakumo, summon, wipe the board, and then they'll go
Mm.
like Surprise, Revive back Synchro to try and get like
Yeah.
back into engine. And then
So
how
like
do you
what you
stop them from like
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I always say like the thing I started doing about halfway through, like when you have all this engine in your deck, that's fine. Like when you're game one and you have every brick in your deck, half card, Magatama, all this, all these deck cards you might want to side out. As long as you can wipe their board and get them off of any like anything actually like on the board, whether that's back row or they can have a field spell up, I guess. But as long as there's no monsters on the board, that's fine because you can regain board presence and like set a bunch of legitimate interruptions. You don't have to kill them game one. I would always try to, so I was really kind of going for game as much as possible. Super Poly is basically auto win because you have the Mud Dragon, and that turns off every interruption that deck has. So that's obviously like great if you can do it. But if you can't, it's fine. But game two and three, it's more complicated because you end up siding out the trap card. And like you should be leaving in, I'd say one of the two, whether it's Magatama or trap card. But I'd say Magatama is probably better. And then um, it's a lot more important that you kill them game two or three going second because you have just so much less interaction from that point on in the game. The extra deck I play is just so bad post turn one. It's like SPs and Dynamondos. It doesn't actually do very much.
Yeah.
Like it's like what am I? I'm not gonna. I don't have the great thing of being like go overlay my two Rizio monsters into a detonator, and now I have like that guy just sitting there for the rest of the game. I don't have like a big extra deck plan, so I have to hope like Murakumo, maybe a Futsu, maybe a trap card or a Magatama is good enough. You could kind of tell who is winning these matches by the end of the first two turns, whether it was like I actually kill them or they or I don't, and then maybe I'm like, dead. It was pretty obvious by the end of the turn.
Nice. Did you ever? Okay, let's. Might be changing subject a little bit off the deck list, but speaking of like knowing whether you're going to win by turn two or not, did you ever come across a situation where because of the new time rules you decided like or you thought maybe I should scoop now or anything like that? Like if the game is getting into a grind and someone's up 1-0, would you ever or if you're up 1-0, I guess, would you ever consider scooping or did that thought ever come up in the first tournament with these rules?
So the time rules, I was thinking about them. I would always check the time, but luckily, basically every game one of mine, whether I won or lost, lasted about 5 or 10 minutes. So I was pretty good. The only one that didn't was against a Yummy player where it was like a 20 minute game one. It was really back and forth. And I ended up losing that. But game two, I basically activated Habakiri, beat Asaji, and he scooped immediately
Yeah.
because he said he didn't want to risk it. And I was like, he was like, my hand is terrible. Let's just go game three.
Okay, so someone did
There's no
that.
point in trying.
Like someone else decided to scoop against
Yeah,
you.
like, somebody else did that. Yeah.
Got it. That's interesting.
But for the most part, I think I luckily built my deck to win game ones. So I won almost every first game um, of the weekend. He only lost like twice. And I think somebody else did that too in a mirror match where he won game one in a kind of a little grind, and game two, he scooped relatively fast. We played it out, but he scooped pretty fast on his own turn. And
Yeah.
then game three, I think a lot of people were like aiming to have about 20 plus minutes for game three. You just want to have enough time where you don't have to like rush too bad.
Yeah.
And for the most part, my opponents were all playing pretty fast. There was no like, never had to tell anybody to play faster. And for the most part, I you could barely feel the rules. Like I saw some people maybe had really long game ones, and then they had to like scoop immediately game two, and like only had 10 minutes or less going into game three. And you could tell like people would be like staring at them the whole time because it was like super intense. But
Yeah.
I mean, I personally didn't feel the impact of the rules too bad. But I could imagine in a format where there's less FTKs and more grindy games,
Yeah.
it being very present for sure.
Yeah, what's the nice thing about your deck is that your turns don't take that long. There's not that much to do.
Mhm.
So I can,
Yeah.
it'll probably come up more if you're playing combo or whatever, and your first turn takes 15 minutes, and then you win the game, and there's
Yeah.
15 minutes left in the round, you're kind of cooked, but yeah, I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you can make any deck take a long time if like you think
If you
on
try
every
hard
play
enough,
and take
yeah.
forever. But yeah, like there are players who play slower and they could definitely make the deck take longer. But yeah, I think that was another important thing was like picking a deck that could easily ATK people and also like was simple enough combo wise to play for 14 straight rounds.
Yeah.
You don't want to go into a thing with like BDD or like Luna Light or like these decks that actually take legitimate like brain power to play.
Yeah.
You can't just go like ritual from hand, ritual from deck, set three pass or something like that. Like that was basically like my weekend.
Right.
Um, but you pick a deck like Luna Light or even like I bet Malice is so much harder now that you actually have to like play around hand traps. Like I wouldn't want to play decks that require me to actually think to play around like one or two hand traps as much. Like I activate my ritual spell, and if you don't have an impulse, probably good for the rest of the turn.
Yeah.
So overall, you were a fan of the new time rules?
I don't know if I was a fan because the thing was it still took 30 to 40 minutes between every round. Like it was still not like moving
Yeah,
super
what's
fast.
that about? Because I heard that too.
Well, there's one round that took a really long time, and I don't know why it took so long. But other than that, it was fine. Like day two is always faster, from what I've seen. It's like 15 or 20 minutes between every round. Little
Yeah, and you
time
have
to,
like better players playing day two who do their combo faster, I imagine. And
yeah.
then they also
Most
scoop
yeah.
earlier. Or
Most
like
of the
know when
games
to
were done
scoop.
pretty quick. Yeah, like from what I was watching, matches were over pretty fast. Didn't have any issues. The closest I even got to time was like 5 or 10 minutes left, and I was like carrying the slip up. So, like
Yeah.
it was never a big problem for me personally, but it was like better to like decisively end rounds, I think. But yeah, like day one, I would sit there and we would watch the clock go like 30 or 40 minutes past the thing,
Jeez.
and I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It was better than Nats because we got done at what time at Nats? Like 10 or
Like
11. Like, we got done
11:30
really late.
or something.
Yeah, like I
That
think
was
we got done at
Yeah,
9.
because we went to that bar for the food. It was like
Yes,
right
we
before they
did go.
closed.
But every single person from the entire venue was just in there too.
Yeah.
Like every group went there. But I think we got done a little bit around 9ish. So actually, I mean, it gets done faster, I guess. I don't know. Must get done a little faster.
Yeah,
I think it will
thought
depend on
that
how many people too, though.
I was hoping that whole thing would be avoided. Like there'd be like, 15 minutes between rounds. Now that there's no,
Mhm.
whatever stupid like end of match procedure nonsense. But guess not. And then I guess it depends like how long it takes them to actually process 2,000 or 1,000 match slips or whatever, but still not as quick as I would
Yeah.
hope.
I mean, there's still time extensions. Like I got deck checked once
Oh,
when they were
sure,
like
sure,
10
sure.
minute time extension.
Yeah,
But like those times, or like, there's judge calls and those can take a while. So there's the inherent like plus 10 or plus 15 minutes of
yeah,
some extensions. And sometimes they were starting the feature a little late, noticed, which was interesting.
yeah,
But other than those, it seemed like it must get done a little faster, but I would imagine like I think Pittsburgh is going to have a lot more players. Um, so it could take longer there to get done with each
yeah.
round.
What about the new top cut rules? Did you like those?
Well, I don't know. By day two, I had like the biggest headache when I woke up. So I was just like, really wish we could be done in the first round. Like, I wish this was a 2 round thing, day two, not like a 5 round thing. Um, Honestly, I can't imagine consistently being able to come top eight. Like, obviously, some players have done it over a few tournaments, but it just seems like so difficult to go, 12-2 or 13-1 at every event you show up to. Um, but I mean, it feels like a really big accomplishment when you actually do it, which is nice. But like, I can imagine if I was, X3 day one or X3 day two, it would kind of take a lot of the excitement out of it for me personally, like not being able to go to Top Cut and play it out. But for the most part, like it's not. But by day one, you will probably have a pretty good idea of like how likely it is. Like even I was X1 after day one, and I was like, I mean, I'll probably like lose two and just get my
Yeah,
trooper,
I don't like that,
be
bro. Because
happy.
it's like so demoralizing. Like you can do so well for the first like 9 rounds, and then just lose
Yeah.
like two in a row, and you're like, well, none of this actually mattered.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like day two is like I got a little lucky because I won a few more dice rolls day two than I did day one, which felt great, especially when I was playing against like Knights and like Malice, which are like I didn't even know I was playing against Malice or I had an idea I might have been playing against. I'm not sure. It was like right after the feature, I think. I think the top cut rules seem like yeah, if you wanted to top, 8-4, you would still have to go X2 or X1 or better, basically, over the same amount of rounds. I heard some people say, oh, it's too narrow. I'm not sure if I agree. I mean, it's unfortunate. I think one X2 missed at Anaheim, which is terrible because like I can't imagine going X2 over 14 rounds and then coming nine. That,
yeah,
that would probably feel horrible, but I think like I think they probably could do it top 16. Heard some people suggesting that maybe do an hour limit for top 16, and then when you get top eight, you can do the time limitless, you know, no time limit full rounds. But honestly, I kind of like the new rules. They're kind of neat. Makes every Swiss round feel really important, to be honest. You're basically like, I can't lose these. So it kind of makes, rounds that may have not been super important when you could go 9-2. It makes them a lot more important because now you like really don't want to lose even one round because it makes it a lot harder to top.
let's see. We have Pittsburgh coming up soon in a month, so I don't think there's any new sets or new cards until then. So the meta should be based on what we saw in Anaheim. But I wonder, do you think there's going to be any kind of changes or like kind of developments? I'm sure there will be, but I wonder what they're going to
Mhm.
be because we had a lot of FTK style strategies popping up to the top. Notably, we had the Mjolnir combo, and then we saw some Protos as well, which is kind of annoying. And then I don't know. I wonder if people are going to lean on those a little bit more, or because they've been popularized, they won the event. So I don't know. What do you think the meta shift, or what kind of how are you going to prepare for a meta shift going into the next
Mhm.
YCS?
Yeah, so the thing with like the next, I can't imagine it staying exactly the same. People have to adjust. If they're really scared of FTKs, what'll probably end up happening is they'll start playing even more hand traps that can actually stop them. problem is like Protoss is one thing because you can imperm the Protoss, or you could in a big tournament, Protoss game one is a lot less scary because they have no idea what you're playing. They could go Protoss Cold Dark and you go normal summon my Neptibus.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, what a waste of my Protoss.
Yeah.
But as you get later in the day, you look around, right? You have a good idea of what is out there. So you can make educated decisions, I guess, in that way. Even if just guessing like, seems popular day 2, I can call light or something. But it's hard to go into an event with a card like that. People might play more Droll because that does stop Protoss stuff. Also stops Mitsurugi stuff, which people are playing a lot right now.
Yeah.
Problem is Mjolnir. The Mjolnir combo is easily the most annoying one because you can't really hand trap it efficiently because they have a Ripper on board. And you also can't like the only cards to stop it are like Imperm and Impulse. And Impulse stops you from being Mjolnired altogether because now you can't even activate the Mjolnir in your own field. So if they want to give you it, I guess they can, but he'll just do nothing. So like I assume that if people are really scared of Mjolnir game 1, Protoss game 1, even if people start playing Fossil Dyne in their main deck, I guess they're gonna have to play a lot more hand traps.
Yeah, and like the problem is the hand traps you want against that Mjolnir combo, like you mentioned, like Imperm, you don't want it against Mitsurugi or Yomi. So it seems like kind of hard to build a deck.
Yeah, it's like I keep thinking about it. I imagine like people might go into like Cyframes or stuff like that, like really impactful hand traps. But the problem is like all these decks you saw in Top Cut, like the Crystron deck, the Yummy Mitsu decks, my deck, the Ryziel deck, they did not play that many hand traps. I think on average it was only like 12 to 14 non-engine kind of thing, which is really small. Like your Yummy decks can play almost 20 if they really want to. But when you're limited to 14 non-engine, like I only played Ash, Impulse, Fua, and 1 Nib plus like some super polys, right? Like these aren't like good. Like that was like so like FTKs are a legitimate problem. Kind of dodged those too now that I think about it throughout the day. But, I was like, whoa, no.
Dude, it is the
me.
hardest punish to these people that play like a Triff pile with 60 card engine and breakers. Just giving him a Mjolnir.
He got like basically got matchup outed. Like as soon as he sat down and lost the dice roll to that Ryziel deck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There was no way. There was 0%. There was like it was almost impossible, especially when his opponent actually opened playable Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I think you have to play Droll. It doesn't really work against Mjolnir because I'm pretty sure Kamal rolled himself.
Yeah, he rolled himself.
Which shows you he doesn't even need to add cards to do it, which is really frustrating.
His hand was pretty good though. Like sometimes you can draw and like get away with it.
Multiple engine like extenders through Droll, but
yeah.
I think it's going to be really weird to see. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but like I can't imagine that it's saying exactly the same, right? Like format has to change. People, it'll be really annoying because you won't be able to tell what's going to happen. It'll be kind of like a guessing game because I'm pretty sure. Are there any other YCSs between this weekend, which is like Brazil, and then? Not sure.
Not that I know.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I don't follow. I don't know where the other like South America
like the other random YCSs.
Yeah, but
yeah, I think it'll be hard to tell. I think the only product that comes out is the branded one, the branded structure deck.
Yeah, and there's one good card in there.
Yeah, maybe Draco Tail might play an extra card or something if they really wanted to, but
yeah,
or you might see more branded, which is like the worst case scenario if everybody's playing branded.
Yeah, more FTKs.
Not imagine a less pleasant.
You think Azuna will become a playable hand trap though? Like if everyone has to play hand traps to not get FTK'd, and everyone's playing these Mitsurugi cards, like Azuna should always be live unless you play against literally pure Yomi. But I don't know.
You could definitely play Azuna as like a hand trap. It'd be ideal. Well, the thing is, Azuna gets like 100 times worse as soon as you do something with her that like doesn't get you into engine, like if you're just like going like Azuna, Lupus, Summon Ripper, and then you can't search any like really good cards with it, it kind of just feels like you're just putting a Ripper on the board. Like I think Azuna, unfortunately, will probably have to stick in decks that actually play Canine cards. That being said, if you have a lot of extra deck space, you could probably consider playing Azuna's as like a hand trap package. I think it'd be cool. I considered it for a little bit. It didn't seem like it'd be very good into Yummy. But if you notice like
Yeah.
a huge hand trap package in every deck, I mean, you should definitely consider it. Let's see. Too many
What
reasons why
about
not.
Valor Imperm? Because like those were cards you chose not to play, and a lot of people chose not to play because Yummy. Like you don't really want to
Yeah.
Valor Imperm them. You think people
those
will play
are so
those if they're
bad.
playing like 15 plus?
You're just so bad into MITSU too. Like
Yeah. For sure.
imperming like it's the same idea as like back when you used to go like normal raisin. Do you want to imperm my raisin and see if I have like Borger in hand to punish you?
Yeah,
It's
and
kind
a
of
lot of time you can't
idea.
even imperm them because they just go Habakiri, Saji, get ritual
Yeah.
spell,
Yeah.
summon
Yeah, and then
Murakuma, and
that's
it's like, okay, bro.
you're staring at this Valor and you're like, well, yes, this does
Yeah.
literally, I guess in Valor you're you're Gallon Granite.
Yeah, I think the next
Go
card,
neg
or
two.
something.
the next
Go
hand
neg.
trap was gonna be Bell, right? Like if you're gonna play
Yeah.
another one, because it's solid into Yummy and Mitsu, and I don't know what other random crap, but it's generally good.
Draco Tail.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's a great card. Like if you looked at like I think everybody's non-engine in top four was basically Ash, Ua, Droll, Bell. Those are the ones they like all played for the most part. In some numbers, you sometimes I think somebody was playing two Bell
Yeah.
and
And
Bell in my side deck.
Bestials, you think will remain like unplayable as long as
No,
Draco
I think
Tails like highly recommend represented?
I think it's I would probably play them in Draco Tail
Yeah, but
or
like if
something.
your
They play
opponent
so
goes
many hand
like
drop.
normal summon Lucas or activate 5 mana and you're staring at a Magnamut, like
Yeah,
what do
it's
you
not
do,
the
dude?
Feels
best.
bad.
I think that deck, if there's, okay, well, the best way to change the format would just give an E-ban list and a couple of these degenerate floodgates.
So
And
we can
then
play Yummy mirror
we're in.
matches all day.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, if they banned D-Barrier, immediately Mitsu becomes like 10 times better. 'Cause that card's actually the most obnoxious of all the floodgates. It's just D-Barrier, but I think like Pistios are so good into Mitsu and they're fine into Yummy, so you could probably play them. You could definitely side them. Might be worthwhile. But I think they're just as powerful as like they've been. But I think they'd be probably pushed into the side deck right now. They're a good option.
Yeah, it's like a cycle with hand traps where the more and more hand traps you play, the better and better the ones that also like stick as bodies become. So maybe we'll see more like Phantasme or something even, or yeah, Bestials as well. Just stuff that sticks on the board. Psyframes you already mentioned. Like if you Psyframe still on your own turn, like it's GG.
A lot of people were like all into breakers for this event, it seemed like. They were like, oh, let's play like Lightning Storms, Dark Rulers, Super Polys, Droplets, all these cards. Which is like also usually when that's good, it means Striker should be pretty good. But evidently, it's the problem with that was that like you're sitting there looking at breakers and you're getting Mjolnir locked. Because like people might look at like Kamal's deck list and say, oh, I really want to play Crystron K9. But as soon as Crystron K9 becomes like super popular, you're gonna lose to like people with a ton of hand traps. Because there are combinations of hand traps, like good ones, imperms, impulses, purges that like actually stop that deck pretty well.
Yeah,
And also
even if you
those are
use
brick to your
like,
deck.
because you can always like Ash on a Ripper, and then your opponent has to choose: do I negate this Ash, or do I play into Nib, or no? And that'll stop a search.
Yeah.
Or you can like Bell the Lantern effect to someone, which will shut them off from 2 bodies, and they have the same decision. But
Yeah, I think if
guess
that
they
deck
do
was
your
popular.
hand, so
Yeah, if that deck was popular, I'd play a deck with like tons of hand traps, like imperms, availers, and nibs. Because that was always the thing with Vanquish Soul in 9-2, is like nib was actually good because if you had like a Veiler and a nib, or like even a Holy Sue and a nib, or Femena and a nib, like all these things that like force out Ripper, and you just like force it out and you nib them, and then they're really sad because you just like nibirued them for their whole board. That was the only answer they had.
Yeah. I wondered about like.
I could see a meta shift.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see like maybe someone's gotten or will get good enough with DDD to bring that and like be successful because that deck is insanely complicated, and maybe there just wasn't enough time before Doom of Dimensions for someone to actually get good enough to play it. Did you see anyone like around you playing it in like? Did you see any day 2 DDD or anything like that?
I don't think I saw a single DDD period.
Huh.
I'm not even sure I saw one on the table. Like I might have seen one,
Yeah.
but like early.
Or
But
like
for the most part, I think that deck suffers from like
every hand trap in the game.
not enough non-engine. Yeah, like every hand trap too also hits you.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
a lot of
for
people
sure.
early. I saw a ton of Memento early, like just around.
Forgot about that deck. Just been a minute.
Yeah. Like I remember, I was testing Friday with Pascal a little bit. He was like, "You want to play games?" And I was like, "Sure." And he just like destroyed me 3 straight matches, and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I really don't want to play against that deck." Like that deck is a lot like MITSU, where it breaks boards really well with engine. But you play a deck like that and you get
Yeah.
Mjolnir locked or Protost, you get really sad about it because you lose.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was kind of not Memento. I guess I was thinking of something else, but surprised about, but also not surprised about post banlist with Fiendsmith Lacrima coming back. I thought maybe we might see a Fiendsmith pile or two, but nothing to be seen for Fiendsmith cards lately.
Yeah, I mean, you can always play it in the same decks like you could play it before. You could shove it in any rank 4 deck.
Mm-hmm.
You can shove it in like decks that make a level 5 synchro or a rank 3 as well. Like these are all like options, but
Yeah.
I think they're just so bad to like hand traps as well. Like, and also they're just as bad as they've always been into Fualas. So
Right. Yeah.
it's really hard to play those cards when you just get Fuad and you lose. Like,
Yeah.
if your deck doesn't have a good compromise into Fua, you probably just can't play it, unfortunately.
Yep. I remember. Just brings me back to locals. Like I don't know. Last time I played locals, I was playing Draco Tail with Fiendsmith cards, and I made Moon, and then Alex just like, "All right, Fua," and I'm like, "I can't play this game anymore. It's over."
Dude, that's the best feeling, bro. The Fualos against Fiendsmith engine, best.
I know. So
You
it's
make a
like,
Requiem, you pass.
Yep, basically. Or no, yeah, I asked the Fualos and you just change your second Fualos. I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
I feel so
I'm liking
bad.
it, yeah.
But yeah,
Devastating.
devastating.
I mean, you might be able to figure out a deck with it, like a hand trap pile with it for Pittsburgh or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm really not enthused about Pittsburgh anymore. I'm kind of over it.
over the
I'm
meta.
just gonna like go there, lose. Yeah, this format's terrible. I'll probably get like Mjolnir locked 3 or 4
Yeah.
times in the first 5 rounds.
Chances are you'll do worse than Anaheim. So
Yeah, I
very
mean
hard
that's
to do better.
the other thing. It's going downhill from here.
Yeah,
My life has peaked. Going downhill from this point.
perfect, dude. Maybe you could pick up a Genesis deck and just win that one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, dude.
I think it's worthwhile. Honestly, a lot of people are saying Vanquish Soul is good, so I could just sleeve up my Vanquish Soul cards
Perfect.
Oh, literally, it's actually
coming
great.
out of retirement.
Yeah,
They don't even play Canine. They just play like pure Vanquish Soul, like a bunch of rank 5s.
That does sound kind
Seems-
of fun.
Ridiculous. I mean, yeah, they play like extra abs, and they're playing. You could technically play multiple Rotas too if you really wanted,
Oh yeah,
but I think they went for the Ash Blossoms.
fair.
Worthwhile Ash.
Yeah, fire
Might be
Ash
worth
is good.
my time. Probably have a better time than getting Protos locked and trolled all day.
Yeah, they can go
Barriered.
get VFD locked instead. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I did no joke get, I think debarriered probably on average once every 1 to 1.5 matches. Like almost every round I got debarriered.
Hell yeah.
It was a little bit ridiculous. I was just like, this is so lame. And I was just like, that's why I think if you're gonna play MITSU, you better win every game one. You better win every single one.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're probably just done.
No, dude, that's why you side out all of the MITSU cards and then put in like Yummy package. They debarrier call the wrong
Oh
thing.
yeah, you're signing into Yummy. Well, Yummy MITSU is good because you can almost basically do that, right? You're just like, oh, I'll just play Yummy. You just want to call Ritual with that card.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about those Yummy cards I don't like them. They seem so boring.
The artwork, right?
Normal club seat. Well, no, I like the artwork. They're so cute. But it's just they're so boring. You just like normal card, you lose to any one board wipe. It's just like so mediocre. I don't know.
Feels bad. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you play K9 MITSU. New wave.
Trust me, if that new Xyz monster was out, the new K9 one that's coming out in Burst Protocol,
Yeah.
I would just play pure K9. That would be so much fun.
There
Have a great time.
Hell yeah. Alex Turner, do you have anything else? You had a few listed questions.
Nah,
Did we bang through those?
Yeah, I think we covered everything. And I don't want this to go on too long, too. So,
But all right.
There'll be editing to do, don't worry.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, thank you guys for hopping on. Any shout outs for you guys that you want to go over before we head off?
It's just shouting out the normal priority phase group chat. All the people who helped testing and who will likely test for Pittsburgh, hopefully. Maybe. Hopefully.
I'll watch
Ideally.
you guys test. And that's my testing.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'll be watching. Yes. Obviously shout outs to all the people who are hopefully watching this video. Maybe.
Nice. All
Ideally.
tens
That
of people.
I will also likely be starting a YouTube channel with my name, just Alex Billiar, Yugioh, likely. Gonna happen.
Nice.
That is it.
Well, whenever that happens, I'll put the link in the description. So make sure you go subscribe to both of these guys' channels. Alex Turner, Time Thief, and then Alex Billiar Yugioh, whenever that comes out, or Yugioh. Alex Turner, anything else before we're done?
nah, Alex summarized it.
Hell yeah. All right, boys. I'll catch you guys next time. Everyone, subscribe, like, comment. Ask Alex B any questions you have about the event or the deck list, and he'll be in the comments answering whatever you guys got. But yeah, until that, we'll catch you guys later.